Hey Owen, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You ready to get started?
Yeah. Yeah, I
All
got
right.
about 20 minutes, so yeah, sounds good.
All right. So my first question for you is how did you get into Ultimate Frisbee?
Um, my older brother, he played at Luther College when he was in college, so that was sort of my first introduction to the game. Um, and I'd always like play catch with I have two brothers. I have a twin brother and then my older brother, and so I'd always play catch with them growing up. So like I could throw, but that was sort of my first introduction to the game. It was my older brother playing it, and then I didn't start playing until the last year in high school.
Okay. Uh, how grateful are you that you've never had to leave Minnesota team-wise?
Um, it's I mean, it's certainly nice that we have there's such a good frisbee scene locally. But I mean,
Yeah.
I've traveled across the country many times for games and tournaments, so like that's been fun. But it's true, like the Minnesota frisbee community is, really special, and I would say like probably one of the best, if not the best, frisbee scenes in the country, which is pretty sweet. So it's been nice that, I've grown up here and started playing frisbee here and been able to take advantage of that community.
Yeah. Growing up, was it always competitive between you and Kyle?
Um, I would say, I mean, definitely like we're both competitors and like want to get better and push each other, but I don't think it was like anything too crazy. Like we were always basically on the same teams for most
Yeah.
sports, even a few years here and there where like one of us was on a different team, but for the most part we've always played together, and I think that's been really special. And like, you know, you don't that kind of chemistry with your teammate is
Yeah.
something that really can only be replicated with him. So that is super cool that throughout our careers and throughout our lives that we've been able to play together all these times. And definitely, it's competitive, but I think we really love each other and it's fun to get to play together. So,
Yeah. What has your greatest achievement been throughout your career, in your opinion?
um, probably taking McAllister's my college team to nationals.
Okay.
The program like kind of restarted 5 years ago, and it was like the spring before I got to campus, and there was like, 9 or 10 guys that were on the team. And
Yeah.
so to show up and slowly build the program and take us to nationals is a pretty awesome achievement. And even more than that, it's like we've got 30 to 30 plus guys on the team, and to grow the sport at Mac and put McAllister on the map as far as
Yeah.
frisbee goes, I think is my biggest achievement and something that I can always look back on. And I want to stay connected with that group of players. So
Yeah.
that was probably my biggest achievement.
Why did you choose number 77?
It's a good question. I think I wanted number 7 when it was like 9U
Okay.
baseball, something like that. And I wanted number 7, um, but it was sadly taken by one of my teammates. So I was like, you know what, let me do double 7. So that's simple as
Okay.
that, and I just kind of stuck with it throughout my career. So
Okay. Do you have a single favorite play throughout your career and can you give us a breakdown of that play?
yeah, let me think. Um, Probably. I mean, it wasn't really the most exciting play, but like just throwing the I we were at college regionals with McAllister, and the final point of the game to send us to nationals, and it wasn't like anything just terribly exciting, but just threw a nice little hammer to my teammate. My brother threw a good huck to one of our teammates. I run up and get it, and then threw a little back shoulder hammer for the score. And mostly it was just so cool to throw the winning assist and like, okay, now we're
Yeah.
actually qualified, and the celebrations and the relief and just feeling elated to have worked so hard for 4 years and get it done. So the play itself wasn't all that exciting, but it was more the context.
Uh, who is your favorite rock band and why?
Favorite rock band. I do. I mean, favorite rock. I mean, I don't know if you consider U2 to be rock. I wouldn't really consider them to be super rock, but I really like U2. But I guess if we're talking like more classic rock, I would have to say maybe Foreigner. I like
Okay,
Foreigner. But I like classic rock, but really my music of choice is like 80s new wave music, like New Order, The
okay.
Cure, that kind of thing.
Uh, what is the hardest Sudoku puzzle that you've ever done?
Mm. I see you've done your research. I do quite like Sudoku. Um, there's some fun like fog of war puzzles they're called where you there's only like four squares that are illuminated for you, and there's certain clues that you can use to progress through the puzzle. And then when you get a correct digit, then the adjacent cells like become revealed, and their clues help
Okay,
you. So like I don't remember the exact puzzle, but it was like fog of war, and then there was a white and black crop key. That's what it's called. If there's a black dot that's in the middle of two adjacent cells, then that means there's a 2-to-1 ratio between the digit values. And if there's a white dot, then they're consecutive digits. And then there's a couple other rules in there. I think there's a chess Sudoku, which means like, if there's a cell, if I have a five in this cell, and then within a knight's move in chess, you couldn't have another five, that kind of
okay,
thing. So I just like it's so fun when you get all the different variants combined into one. And I think Fog of War especially is a fun variant.
okay. What is the schmeediest throw that you've ever thrown, Kyle?
Um, yeah, oof, throwing a lot of stuff his way. Usually it comes down with it. Nothing like too. I mean, nothing too crazy. I feel like I usually doesn't feel too crazy to throw to him because he usually comes out with it, and like I'm not going to throw him like a total jump ball, but we like to run this play called moon landing where um, we have like four cutters across the field, and then one of them comes under, which is usually me, and then I get the disc, and then
Okay,
Kyle's on the side, and he'll cut across and then go deep. And we would run that all the time, and just I basically throw it blindly up to him, and he's always catching it. So that was our go-to play for sure.
okay. Uh, what is it like to mentor little kids and teach them your skills?
It's really fun. I mean, I think playing with the wind chill, like that's one of the big perks is that we have such a big fan base and there's so much youth and
Yeah,
especially with the awesome ultimate community in Minnesota and the youth scene. Like there's so many kids that want to play the sport and look up to us and come to games and come to the camps. And so it's really fun to be able to coach at the camps and like build relationships with the kids, and then they come to games and they come to camps down the road. It's like, oh yeah, I remember you. Like it's really cool, and I try to just put myself in their shoes and uh, try to do the best I can to coach them up. And I think like you know throwing is like the big thing for me. Like every kid, and I mean even
yeah,
the best players in the world can get better at throwing. So I try to put an emphasis on throwing and technique and that sort of thing. But also try to have a lot of fun because especially this summer it's been so hot. So like
yeah,
making sure they have fun and you know, enjoying each other's company and getting to know each other is super important as well. Just outside of just playing frisbee.
yeah. Would you consider yourself more of an offensive or a defensive player?
Definitely more of a defensive player. I think it's really team dependent. Like I think I fit well into a lot of different roles, and like for the windshield, for example, like my role is pretty narrow as a defensive player. Like I'm running down on the pole, I'm guarding handlers, trying to force a lot of throws, look to try to get some blocks, but mainly my role is to just make it hard for the offense. But for my club team, Dragon Thrust, I'm probably gonna be on the O line playing offense, get this in my hands a lot, looking to initiate and be kind of one of the main cutters to get open
Yeah,
downfield. And then for McAllister, like my role is everything, like trying to play every point and do everything I can to help the team win. Like so I've kind of run the gamut in terms of different roles. But I think at heart I would consider myself a defensive player and like aggressive offensively on the turn. But um, yeah, I think I'm malleable to play in different roles.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about playing in the UFA?
Definitely the fans. I mean, again, like, going on road trips and seeing the lack of, I mean, there's other teams get fans, but like, we play in front of 2,000 plus
Yeah.
every home game, which is pretty sick. Like, we played in Pittsburgh and there was, like 100 fans, and which is great, good for
Yeah.
them. But it's definitely the highlight for me is playing in front of our home crowd and playing in front of the kids and the youth and seeing how much energy they have for Ultimate. That's definitely the highlight. As far as like the on-field product goes, I mean it's a wider field than normal, and so it's much more big space um, and I think there's a lot more strategy involved there, so that's enjoyable too. But honestly, the big thing is playing in front of a ton of fans. Like you don't really get to do that anywhere
Yeah.
else, even within the league. Like Minnesota is pretty unique in that sense.
Uh, Growing up, did you ever think that you would be where you are today?
Uh, Not in terms of frisbee. I mean, that wasn't really on my radar as a thing that I was going to do until college, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't I didn't really know the frisbee scene until like my first or second year of college. Like I didn't really know like the wind chill existed or like club frisbee was a thing. Like, so that wasn't really ever on my radar. Like I played baseball throughout high school and like I didn't really, obviously when I was a little kid, everyone dreams of playing in the
Yeah.
major leagues or whatever, and but it was never really a huge dream of mine. Um, but as far, I mean, beyond sports, like I've always loved math, and so like I'm gonna start a PhD in the fall, and like I definitely could have seen myself doing that
Okay.
when I was young. So, but as far as frisbee goes, it was never really on my radar.
Uh, can you explain to people like me who don't know what the different positions are and what each one does?
Yeah, totally. So frisbee, you've got there's really two main positions. You've got handlers and cutters. Handlers are going to be people that are mostly behind the disc. They're going to have the disc in their hands a lot. They're going to be throwing a lot of throws, and cutters are going to be downfield trying to get open and make cuts to score goals. So, if football analogy, the handlers are sort of like the quarterback,
Yeah.
and cutters are sort of your receivers. Um, and then typically you have like an O line and a D line. So in frisbee, like one team starts with the disc and they pull to the other team, sort of like a kickoff in football.
Yeah.
Team that's pulling is on defense to start, and the team that's receiving is on offense. So every point there's one team pulling, one team receiving. So your O line is typically going to go out there when you're receiving the disc. So they're more comfortable possessing the disc, and it's expected of them that they're going to score without turning the disc over. And your D line is trying to get blocks, trying to generate turnovers, and then on a turn they might not be quite as comfortable like possessing the disc as the offensive players, but they're typically like a pretty athletic group that's gonna, on average, probably try to like go deep more and throw more hucks. And hucks are like just longer
Yeah.
passes, 40 plus yards. So handlers and cutters are sort of the two main positions. Like within those, you kind of have further positions from there. Like, for example, offensively, you might have an initiating cutter who's always going to like start each possession by making a cut, and we're going to give them a lot of space to make a cut and get open to start. Or like a fill cutter whose job is to fill space when it's vacated by initiating cutter making some cut, and then you're going to fill the space.
Yeah.
So, there's varying levels of complexity, but at the end of the day, it's, handlers and cutters sort of the main two.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, do you feel that you guys have a strong chance of winning the finals again? Obviously, 11-1, a first round bye. You guys have a great chance in my opinion. What do you think?
for sure. Yeah, I think we have a great shot as well. I mean, we gotta get to championship weekend first. Indianapolis is a good squad, and they've been kind of Indianapolis and Madison. They're both good. So I would either team could win that first round of the playoffs. Then we'll face the winner. So we'll see how that goes. But I think either team we face, we feel good about our matchups, and we've played like a lot of the really good teams in the league already in the regular season, and part of that goal was to try to test ourselves and prepare us for the playoffs and play good teams. And
Yeah.
11-1 record speaks for itself. And even the one loss against Boston, like we were right there with them and kind of had some self-inflicted errors. Myself included, made a few mistakes, but we feel like if we clean those up, we're right there and can beat anyone. So yeah, I think we have a good shot.
Yeah, and Boston was only a 1 point game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you feel that your rookie season has gone, in your opinion?
I think overall it's gone pretty well. I think I've gotten accustomed to my role on defense, and I feel like I've shown that I can both play good handler defense, and our system is all about forcing the teams to throw a lot of throws and really try to work up the field and grind out possessions. And I think I'm doing a good job of forcing those throws, and also I've shown that I can generate blocks as well, which is a huge part of the
Yeah.
game. There's so few turnovers at the UFA. Like anytime you can generate a block and get the disc back for your team is super valuable. So I think I've shown that I can do that. I think offensively, it's sort of the next evolution of my game. I think I don't feel quite as comfortable out there in the UFA as I do in club, and like a lot of that's it's rookie season, getting used to the field and the
Yeah.
space. I had never really played high level men's frisbee. Like I played club for Dragon Thrust, and that's mixed. So you've got male matching players and female matching players in the field at the
Yep.
same time. It's just a different game, different strategy, and smaller field. So like it's an adjustment, but I'm working through it, and I feel overall it's been a successful year, and so I'm excited for the playoffs.
Do you watch any sports, and if so, which ones?
I watch a lot of sports. I mean, I'd say I probably watch football the most. I follow soccer pretty closely. I watch some golf, basketball. I sort of watch them all.
Okay.
I'm a Packers fan, so I enjoy watching the Packers. But yeah, sort of watch them all.
Come on, man.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Parents grew up in Wisconsin, so I grew up rooting for the Packers. It's sort of the only I like hate the Vikings with a passion, but other like Minnesota Wisconsin rivalries, I'll cheer for the Timberwolves or the Twins. So, but Vikings can't do
I guess that's acceptable.
that.
So my last question for you is, what advice would you give to someone trying to get into Ultimate Frisbee?
That's a good question. I mean, I think part of the beauty of that is it's such a young sport. It's still growing, and there's opportunities to like really jump in and like get playing at a high level pretty quickly. Like
Yeah.
really started really playing in college, and it's been a pretty crazy rise just from that. So, like I think if you've got the athleticism and like the desire to play, like you can really level up your game pretty quick and start
Yeah.
playing at the highest levels, which is exciting. But I don't know. My advice would be just to like, it's honestly like you just start throwing, like throw a lot, and it's sort of like baseball. If you're like young and trying to, you just play
Yeah.
catch, like work on your throws. Like I can still improve my throws. Everyone can still improve on their throws, but it's just a lot of hours outside just throwing with a buddy, playing catch, working on different throws, thinking about different in game situations, pivots, stepping out, all that stuff. Just work on your throws. Like I think it helps to be if you've played other sports and you're a pretty athletic person, like that part of your game you should be able to pick up pretty quick, but it's the
Yeah.
throws that are really going to level up your game, and that's something that anyone can do to get really good is to be a really good thrower. Like that's always valuable, no matter how fast, how high you can jump, whatever.
Yeah.
If you can throw well, that's super important. So I would say just trying to work on your throws. That's the easiest thing to do. You just need a disc, and you don't even need a partner. Like ideally, you play catch, but you can just do it by yourself. You just need some discs. So
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you, Owen. Good luck with the playoffs.
thanks, Zach. Yeah, thanks for having me.